Hey everybody, well, this is Bloom. We're doing another video talking about MGTOW. This time we're going to be talking about Rites of Passage, the mysteries of being a man. This is not going to be a complete list because I bet there are some that could be created depending on your culture. There are a lot of cultures and a lot of ways that people become adults. They go through different rites of passage, and so add to it. The more rites of passage that we have, the better off, because that is one more task to achieve to make a person better. But first, unfortunately, we got to talk about the negativity, the drama, the BS. In my one of my videos on MGTOW, we got some ladies upset. I knew that was going to happen. It's no surprise. And so they threw a fit. They made videos. They were crying about things. And so I'm going to respond to them. You know, there's an adage that people do not quit good jobs, good managers, that people only quit bad managers, because a good manager will work with you during the hard times, and you know, if he's working with you, you're going to go through it. There's teamwork. But with bad managers, you know, they're not going to help you, and so people quit that because they don't want to be around that. Okay? Feminists, a lot of women like to talk about how bad patriarchy is. And so I've been doing some research, and they cannot find a good example of a matriarchy. There is no matriarchal government to compare to. So ladies, how about you stop whining about patriarchy, because it is the patriarchy that built the world, that's built the roads, built the buildings, all those little nice little luxuries you have is because of patriarchy. Okay? So, until you can show me a functional matriarchy, you have nothing to complain about. You see, our history on this world is, if the leadership was bad, they revolted. Napoleon and all that came into power because the French aristocrats were, you know, living this posh life, and they were having the poor people suffer, and they revolted. And so, since there is no matriarchal government that we could make a reference to, how bad was that leadership? I mean, what did they do to everybody else where they worked against the government? They brought that supposed government down. So, ladies, if matriarchy is so damn wonderful, where is it? History of feminists. Oh, God. Feminists are... There's multiple waves of feminists. First wave feminist was about getting the right for women to vote. It's a good thing, and I have no problems with that. I better say it now. There are good women out there, but we've got to hold some accountable. There have been multiple waves of feminism, and each one is asking for more. Third wave, I believe we're on fourth or fifth wave now. But feminists do not like MGTOW. They do not like men's rights activists and men's rights groups. This is men going to improve themselves, to fight for what they believe in. Women don't like that, and feminists have actually campaigned against it. This is more in Toronto, not Toronto, just Toronto, Canada. And we have...
Why? Can you shut the fuck up for a second too?
Well,
so I can leave my fucking
Big right over
so you
here
guys
is
can actually
Toronto.
answer those
She
questions.
is a feminist, and she took part in protest at
This
men's
is
rights.
a list of the things that we're working towards. Now, if you would shut the fuck up for the 50th billionth time, agree on that. These are things that we're agreeing on.
delightful.
And these are things that you've actually all got skewed fucking views on. You think that feminists are trying to take away your fucking rights, but as a matter of...
Okay. So, when men got together and tried to discuss men's rights, feminists protested. Feminists actually were trying to block and disrupt men's meetings. They were not after equality like they say. They want superiority. They want payback. They believe that they are owed so much. And so they will not allow men to better themselves. That's why they were against this video, because if we men better ourselves, if we learn about our true inner strength, we're going to learn that we don't need them, and thus they will lose power. So they are going to say things that we are a hate group. They actually, in Canada, a lot of these women's groups were saying that men's groups were hate groups, and that's why men's groups should not be allowed to speak. They believed that women's groups should be the only ones speaking, not only for the behalf of women, but for men as well. I mean, that's how bad it is. Now, there was a reason why I showed you Big Red. This is a men's rights group. You can see there's women actually there. So they were being open-minded when anybody talked. The protests out there, that's women. Those are radical feminists. Now look at the walker, so if they're going to show. There she is. There's Big Red. Okay? What they did at this particular meeting was they got inside. They were trying to be loud to disrupt so that it would be harder for the men inside that were being civil, so that they couldn't talk. And because they were losing, as you heard, they pulled the fire alarm, which means that everybody had to evacuate the building, and then they had to check the building and make sure there were no fires. The feminists disrupted and basically canceled a men's rights group meeting. But yet, you know, us men are so nasty. And the last piece of negativity that we're going to deal with is good old Blind Wolf something. Blind Wolf Lady, Lady Blind Wolf, whatever her name is. You see, she made a response video in which she was saying that, you know, you men aren't doing so good right now because we women are not having sex with us men. It is a fact that women are able to control our sex lives, men's sex lives. Women control the availability of sex. However, women are not thinking big picture, because men can use good old lefty to take care of any strain, which takes away the power of women. But there's something else there, Lady Blind Wolf. Men control the access of marriage. Men are walking away from relationships. They're walking away from dating. So many women are going to hit the wall and be lonely. They're going to grow old with their cats. Crazy old cat ladies, there's going to be a lot of them, because women think that they can control the situation, and they can't. So those are the three main negatives, but there's some images I wanted to show as well. Women are hypocrites, it seems. I'm sorry, I got to rephrase that. Most women seem to be hypocrites. A lot of these feminists want to say how hateful us men are, but they don't have a problem with showing. There we go. I have a hard time trusting men because they all smell like hidden motives. Boy, isn't that a positive message? Women have no problems shaming men, attacking men, but when we do it, it's wrong. And here we got an image, they want to say how violent men are. But here they did this little picture here where it shows a man was attacked by a foreign object from his, I would assume, wife. But this is funny to them. It's all right for women to hit men. This is why we got to walk away from this. Okay? They are trying to normalize violence against men and still condemn men for the slightest aggression. It is not right for men to hit women. Men should not hit women. But unfortunately, they want to have the double standard. There are a lot of videos on YouTube. You could probably find them very easily. Where a man, if he lays a hand on the finger, is attacked, taken down. But if a woman hits a man, most people just, yeah, whatever. And then if the man tries to defend himself, then he's attacked, even though she hit first. There are many states, Iowa, the state I live in, is just as bad. It does this too. That if there is a domestic fight, even if the female starts it, the man will be taken in just the same. So do not touch a lady, okay? Don't, because you'll pay for it. And it is an expensive choice. There are cases, and you'll see them on YouTube if you want to look them up, where a guy was attacked by his, I believe, girlfriend, living girlfriend. He never fought back. He took it. He was hit multiple times. He had people over, and they witnessed it, that she hit him, and he never hit her. And they still arrested him. And he still had to go through that process. And it took all of these witnesses to go to court to say he didn't do anything before they dropped the charges. So be careful out there, guys. Put your hands in your pockets and walk away. If you got a cell phone and you can videotape yourself. Yes, you videotape her if she's going to hit you, because if you can show it that she hit you, you can defend yourself legally. But most important, videotape yourself not attacking. Okay? That is very important. Back before I got into my relationship with Cindy, I was seeing a lot of real men videos where women would be saying these are the standards that men must take. Real men do this. Real men don't do that. And women want to make all these types of requirements on us. In my one video I talked about the 4 sixes. You had to be above 6 feet tall, have a dick that's larger than 6 inches long, 6-pack abs, and have a 6-figure income. But here we go. So let me get this straight. Women have thick hair, nails, thick lashes, contacts, buy fake boobs, lips, and get Botox injections. But they want a real man. Okay? So they have standards, demands for us, but not for themselves. Oops. Now, this is Kathleen Kennedy in the black shirt, and the 3 other ladies work for Disney. And on there, they're saying that the force is female. This is an example of how woke liberals have gotten into the entertainment industry, and they are forcing identity politics into everything. I'm 53 years old. I saw the original Star Wars in the movie theater. Not once until Star Wars entered Disney have I ever heard anybody saying that the Force was any particular gender. There's the light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force. And that was it. There was no male Force or female Force. This is an example of how women are shoving, feminists are shoving their identity politics into everything. And this is important because feminists are everywhere in paganism. Okay? Starhawk, when she created the goddess tradition, she was a feminist. She pushed her politics into paganism. And this is one of the reasons why we got to push back, because there is all these people making all these claims. And in my previous video, I showed there's so many images of goddess, thank you for this, goddess that, goddess. But there are very few women out there that show any respect for a god. So now we're going to go into the goals, or rites of passage. Now, there are 3 levels in my mind of throughout life. You know, the females, they have their triple goddess, you know, the maid, the mother, and the crone. Well, men can have the same concept because we follow the same general biology as women. Yes, there's some major differences and all that, and we look between legs, right? But men start off as the stag, the father, and then the hermit. As the child, or the stag, we need to realize what we want to do in our lives. We have to do a lot of self-reflecting, okay? And so one of the first things we should do is look for role models. Now, this is all conspiracy theory. I showed you the picture of Kathleen Kennedy and the Force is female. Well, if you are into pop culture like I am, you also know through the movies that they have been going through and destroying role model characters. Luke Skywalker was a great role model until they had him drinking the green milk and tossing the lightsaber and all that, because they were trying to destroy what he stood for. And then they made Rey into a Mary Sue because she only had to close her eyes and then she can do everything. But Luke had to earn it. He had to go through trials and tribulations to develop his skills, which is what you need to do. Everything is a test. Everything is a trial. Everything depends on your abilities and your skills. Well, yeah, your mentality and your skills to go beyond all of our rites of passage. Now, a lot of you are going to say that, well, who is a role model? And the nice thing is, it could be, hopefully, you're not a single child. You're not a child in a single home, okay? The bad thing is that a lot of single mothers will not show you a good role model for being a dad. Because a lot of single mothers stay at home. They are not, you know, earning money because they are dependent on state and child support. And so it's hard to show them, a male, what a good role model is for a male, because they can't show it. And so we can also have books, characters in books, movies, cartoons, and all that. TV shows have shown us a lot of good role models. Now, the one that you're not going to believe is this man, Al Bundy. Okay, now this is important. Hates his wife, hates his kids, hates his neighbors, hates his job, hates his life. Al Bundy was meant to be a joke. Okay, remember, Married with Children was a comedy. And so, yes, they are going to poke jokes and make fun of the man. But Al Bundy was actually a good man. Compared to a lot of other TV dads that are out there, he's actually a good man. He stays married, doesn't beat his kids, doesn't shoot his neighbors, still gets up every morning and goes to work, doesn't commit suicide. That last part, don't commit suicide, because there is a stat that a lot of women like to deny. In the adult world, men lead suicide rates, I believe it's 3 to 1, at least 3 to 1. But Al continually went up, got up, and went to work. Work can be bad. Work can be just morally depressing. But he went to work to provide for his family, okay, to take care of his family. So that is a good trait. And if you watch the show like I did, Al loved his children. Yes, he hated them at times, but I remember one of my favorite scenes was the Bundys went to a movie theater and Kelly saw her now ex-boyfriend with another woman, and Kelly just looked at her dad and just said, "Beat him up, Daddy." And Al got up, walked over and beat up somebody. He defended his family. Again, that's a great trait. And so Al can do it. But there, if you're wanting something a wee bit more serious, home improvement. Tim the Toolman Taylor. He had a wife. He loved his wife. He supported his wife. He had children. He loved his boys. He interacted with his boys a lot. Okay, he was tried to be a good figure in his community for his family and friends. That's a great trait. When the boys did something wrong, he never beat them. He talked to them. He tried to teach them. He tried to explain to them. Okay, those are good traits. And so it might be hard for you to find a trait, somebody to be a role model, but there are other ways to find one. Okay. Next one. This is off of Jordan Peterson. Clean your room. This is the start. This is where the start of all the baby steps are going to get harder and harder in life. Clean your room. This is your area. Okay. Nobody likes a slob, right? You have to maintain yourself. Well, this is how you start maintaining yourself. And that is keep your room clean. Keep it organized. Okay? It is a good task. It is a good place to start. Because when you get older and you are trying to do homework, you can't do homework in a messy room, can you? No. Maybe you got to do some other projects. You can't do it in a messy room, right? So keep your room clean. One of the things that women like to do is they like to say that men need to provide. They demand that men provide, but they don't give any credit for it. But get a job. Go out there and get if you're young, get a part-time job. Work a couple hours a day at this job. You know, maybe it's bagging groceries or something like that. But get a job. And the celebration isn't your first paycheck, because everybody can get a first paycheck. The person that works one day and decides to screw this is going to still get a paycheck. So your first paycheck means nothing. But set your goal. Maybe set your goal working at this job for 6 months. And after that 6 months, that paycheck you have, that's something to be proud of. Maybe you decide to go a year. Great, that's even better. That's something to be proud of. All right. We have to work. One thing my dad did for me, and he was telling me that he did not want me to have a job until I absolutely needed to, which I agree and disagree with in both ways. But his mentality was this: once you start working, you really can't stop. Okay, I agree with him on that part too. And so once you get that job, you have to maintain a job. Work ethic means everything. Another great thing my dad taught me is how you work is a reflection of who you are. If you go to a job, joke around, put in a half-assed effort and all that, you're going to look bad. You did a terrible job at work, thus you must be a terrible person. If you want people to respect you, you need to do a good job. So you put your, asses and elbows into a job and you do it right. And if you do it right for a long time, people are going to respect you. There are going to be people at that job site that are going to be able and say, that person does a good job. Hire him. Hire her. They're going to speak in your behalf. There is this thing going on where people are quiet quitting, which is a joke. It is when you don't do any more than you absolutely have to maintain a job. If you want a raise, if you want a promotion, you have to go beyond the job requirements. Yes, you have a job description. Do more than that. Okay? You do more and you will get the promotions. You'll get a raise. Okay? And that's the ethic I have. And in my first raise I got with the company I currently work for, it was $1 an hour raise. And hey, that's great. Put the effort in if you want rewards. Okay? Because that's basically it. The amount of effort you put in is going to highly reflect on what you get out. So if you don't put any effort in, don't expect much back. Next thing that society wants to throw on us is that they expect us to defend them. Okay, fine. Learn to protect yourself. Learn how to fight. There are many ways to fight, and using a gun is not one of them. Okay? You can't always get access to a firearm. But you could learn to box. Boxing is a great thing because a lot of bullies out there, they're insecure. And so if you can put that good left jab right on them and makes them think, do I really want to mess with this person anymore? In most cases, the bully will collapse and leave you alone. And so maybe all you need is that good punch. Okay? I don't support violence. If you can try to find a peaceful way out of a situation, please do. But there's more than boxing. There is martial arts, wrestling, okay? Those are excellent ways to stay fit, which is important. Oh, excuse me. And to be able to defend yourself and the people that you love. Okay? So, the bad side on this is there are so many people that are just going to say, well, that's just men being aggressive. You can't have it both ways. I'm talking to the feminists out there. You cannot condemn men for being aggressive and then demand that they protect you whenever you piss somebody off. But that's something that's you're going to notice a lot with feminists. They love to have it both ways. Next thing is that they want you to do things for them. They want you to learn how to build, and repair things. Okay. Women like the fact that we can provide them everything, basically, and they want us to maintain the home. So, you got to mow the lawn and all this. Well, you have to learn to work. You have to learn to build things. Now, I'm not saying you have to learn how to build everything, because you don't have to. But maybe there is something that you'd like to build with. As you experiment on different things to do with your hands and all that, maybe there's something you like. Now, I bought a fixer-upper home, and I had to do a lot of work to get it up to code. I did electrical work. I've done some plumbing, carpentry, laid carpet. I put in windows, I've done a little bit of everything and for the house, and I'm proud of myself because I can do this stuff. It is an accomplishment. It makes me feel good. And if you find the one thing that you're great at, awesome. But I didn't have to learn it all. I could do basic electrical, so if I need to put in a new light or replace an outlet, I can do that, no problem. But installing an electric hot water heater, nope, not going to do it. Because that's a 220 line, and I'm not playing with that. I will hire somebody to do that. I also will hire people to fix my car. Yes, I can do an oil change. I can put in the washer fluid and change the wipers. But pretty much anything other than that, I will pay somebody to do it. Does it take away from my manhood? No, it don't. I'm supporting other men, and that's something that we men love to do. Help others. Now, this is important. I'm going to be referring to a lot of things my dad taught me. And one of the other things that he taught me was before you expect others to help you, you better be willing to help others. Do a good deed of the day. Help people when you can. And my example for myself today is that my sister is moving to a different town, and she needed some stuff moved. She only has a car. I have an SUV. And so I told her that, well, how about I just take my SUV, we can load stuff up, and I could take it to your new place. And she goes, are you sure? And it's like, yeah, it's no problem. I mean, it's only a 15-minute drive. Yeah, it's easy. And I did it. And so I did my good deed. I helped somebody. And so I helped them, and they felt good about themselves. I did something good. I feel good about myself. And this will make us better people. As you can tell, this is in no particular order. Learn to cook. One of the things that women like to complain about, feminists like to complain about, is that there are roles. Well, they're always expected to do all the cooking and cleaning. I learned to cook when I was, I think 7 years old. I would help my dad cook. My dad cooked. And so, learn to cook. Learn to do some of the basic things. Not just throwing something in the microwave. Get to the stove, turn it on, and cook something on it. Do that. Okay? Put something in the oven. Bake a cake. But if you learn to cook, you have the skills, you will learn to be more self-reliant. And, and so if the women start complaining that, all you expect me to do is cook, kick them out of the goddamn kitchen and cook for yourself. Okay? And you will take away some of the power that they want to force upon you. It is basically that bad. But learn to bake. Learn to cook something. Fry a steak. Grilling. That's supposed to be a manly thing. Learn to grill. It is a form of cooking, and it will make you a better person. Okay, next up, learn ethics. Learning ethics, this is telling the truth, being an honorable person, being somebody that people can depend on. It is a lot about being honest, but it's also your follow-through, your commitment. If your friend says, could you help me out next week? I got this project I got to do, and I can't do it by myself. If you say yes, well then be there. Make sure you're there. You made a commitment, follow through. Okay? And so it's also about telling, or it is about setting standards. If stealing is wrong, it is wrong for you, and it is wrong for your friends and your enemies. You cannot make an exception in your rules, because every time you do, you're shooting a hole in the tank. Okay? Imagine this large tank full of water. That's your ethics. And every time you allow somebody to do something that is against your ethics, you're putting another hole in the tank. How much longer can that tank hold the water if you put too many holes in it? And soon, nobody's going to be able to trust you, because everybody's going to go, well, you let your friend Philip do this, and you let your girlfriend Janice do that. Sooner or later, you are going to lose any trust because you do not have the ethics. Okay, I'm back. The last one for when you're a stag is to be fit, to be in good physical shape. All right? Because you have to take care of yourself. So you need to be able to be fit enough to do these things. If you want to learn to fight, you can't be a boxer and have a keg for a belly, okay? If you want to be able to be limber to do some of those fancy kicks that the martial artists do, you can't be obese, okay? And when you're out on your own, especially when you're first starting out, you are on your own. So you cannot have a whole bunch of weight issues and all that, because it's going to get hard. And so you need to be able to achieve things. Work, okay? It's a lot easier doing a physical job if you are in good shape. I unfortunately wasn't when I grew up, okay? And I have lost over 100 pounds in the last couple of years. I'm feeling a lot better about myself, okay? But we need to stay fit. Now, fit is also about being clean, okay? You could be 6 foot tall, weigh 140 pounds. You know, that would be good. But if you stink, no girl's going to touch you anyway. Nobody's going to want to be around you. So you must stay clean. Fitness covers so many different areas, not just how skinny you are. Okay, so those are the rites of passage if you are the stag, the child. You know, this is from like going from 14 up to 18. All right. Now, when I was a kid in school, I read this amazing story. It was about a young boy from Africa, and he was talking about his life. He recited in the story about when he was about 14 years old, if I remember right. They had to put on masks, you know, to blindfold themselves, and they were led to a tree for the special ritual to show that they are men. And so they sat underneath this tree with their eyes covered and all that, and they heard these noises above them, and it was quite scary. It was intimidating, and everybody stayed. They withstood this scary event, and because they did that, they were shown to be men. And then about 5 years later, he was shown what happened, because it was his turn to lead the young kids to this sacred tree. And you know, they put the masks on. Then somebody came up with these long wooden reeds that were on the ends of rope, and they were spinning these around, you know, around and around above these kids, and it made all these weird noises, the same noises that he heard when he was a kid. The kids were never in any danger, but it scared them, and scared the kids, but made them stronger. And the young man saw what they were doing, and he was shown how to be a role model, how the community works, and that was an interesting thing. And so this happens here now. You're no longer the stag, you're the father. All right. So instead of trying to find a role model, you are going to be a role model. Look at yourself, think about all of your weaknesses, and work on them. Try to fix him so that the kids around you can look up to you and be proud of you and want to be just like you. And I know some of you kids of single mothers will not understand this, but I wanted to be just like my dad. Yes, he had, bad traits, yes. But overall, he was a good man. And so I wanted to be like Dad. And so for that to happen, you must be somebody worthy of having to be admired. Yeah, yes. Okay. Next part, we talked about cleaning your room. Now you have to do more. You are a man. You are a father. You are in charge of your property. That means that you keep your house clean and you keep the property clean. Yes, you're going to have to mow the lawn. You're going to have to rake up leaves. You also have to help maintain the house. And sometimes you help clean. Okay? Women, feminists, are going to complain that they are expected to do all this cleaning and all that. But honestly, they shouldn't have to do all the cleaning. Guys, we stand up and we do parts and we help out. If you make a mess, you help clean it up. Okay? Do I help clean up in my house? Yeah, I do. There are days where I do all the cleaning. We take turns. Is there any reason why Cindy does the majority of the cleaning compared to me? And it is because of her. This was her decision. I make more money an hour than Cindy does. I pay a majority of the bills and all that. And so Cindy decided, that since I take care of the majority of the financial and I take care of the outside, that she would be doing a majority of the inside housework. That is a partnership. So she takes care of this part, I take care of this part, or that part, however you want to say it, and we work together. That is something that you guys need to learn. Okay? Don't expect the women to do it all, but do your fair share. Okay? That means also if she's sick, you do it all. Okay? There are times where we have to step up to the plate. That is, unfortunately, manning up, which is something that we're going to hear a lot of and which will be in my next video. Okay, you hopefully have been maintaining your profession, your job. So you got to keep a job. You got to maintain. Try to improve yourself. Try to make a little bit more money here and there. Be honest. Be legal. Okay. You have eyes looking on you now, and children need to see you taking care of responsibilities. And this is something that men don't get enough credit for. They want to say that women are the nurturing type, and no, they're not. Men just do it differently, and women just can't see that. My dad was a hardworking man. He worked outside. He was a pipe layer. In the Des Moines area, most of the sewer lines that were put in the late 60s, 70s, and early 80s, more likely my dad worked on them. His hands were calloused. He worked in the cold, he worked in the heat, and he did that because it took care of the family. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so proud of my dad. Okay? So we have to learn that it's a part of the job. It is our responsibility as men to provide for the family. Learn to fight. Okay, yes, we maintain our ability to fight and defend our families, but we also must learn when not to fight. Okay? We need to keep our family safe, but there are times where we have to think outside the box and prevent problems first. Okay? Learn how to build. Well, you got a house now. Take care of your house. Take care, build a garage if you can. Take care of the car. Use your hands. This is being creative. You can also Build things as a hobby. Okay? I like to paint. And so building would be painting something. And this will make you feel good. This will expand your horizons. It will make you a better man. Okay? So learn to build. You are still required to help others. Okay? Excuse me. Now that you are older, you have more resources. You can help people more. So if you have some extra money and the family's taken care of, maybe you can give to a food shelter or maybe work in a food shelter. But do not overextend yourself. We have stories of men that are so wrapped up in given this image that they're so amazing that they are punishing their families, and it's disgusting. What I'm talking about, this is really bad in the South, from what I understand. There are heads of households, men, that constantly give to the church, and they give this false illusion that everybody's doing great, they're getting plenty of food, and and the father is constantly giving, but once they leave the church, it's just like, shut up, this, you guys got to share, and the family goes without. Don't do that. Okay? You help others out. Okay? You can only help people when you are in a position to help. You cannot help people out if you're not at 100%. So if you're down on your luck, money is short and all that, don't help out others until you get yourself going again. Okay? That is a very important lesson. Cooking. Oh, guys. Okay, you learned how to cook, expand your abilities to cook. One of the other reasons why I want to be like my dad was because my dad cooked on the weekends. Being that he was in construction, he worked Monday through Friday as a bricklayer, pipe layer, carpenter. He did all this type of construction work. But the weekends, he cooked. That was also one of the arrangements that my mom and dad had. He would generally cook on the weekends. And so there were times as a kid, I'd see my dad, he's starting to make supper, and you go, oh, he got the roaster out. We got that beef roast. I know what we're having for supper tonight. Hot dang. There were things that my dad made that were excellent. They were something to look forward to. They are memories, good, positive memories. So if you have children and you are able to be a part of their lives, which I hope you can be, cook for them. Make something. Find something that was your specialty. Okay? My mom gave up making meatloaf because of my dad. And my mom made decent meatloaf, but my dad's meatloaf was awesome. Okay? There was that little extra that my dad put in that made his special. And so that was something that I remember. Build that type of memory with your children. Okay? Learn ethics. Okay. You are now a role model. People are watching you. You cannot go and be wishy-washy on ethics. So when you are trying to set an example for your kids, you can't tell them that stealing is wrong, then be a thief. No, because they will see it. And if they cannot respect you, they will find somebody else that they can respect. Which means you have to be a disciplinarian, yes. But you can be a disciplinarian without being abusive. Always remember that. And next is still, be fit, be clean. Again, you are a role model now. And you don't want your kids to see good old dad sitting on the sofa, bag of chips, a couple of beers, watching the football game every weekend. Okay? Sometimes you should go out there, play with the kids. Play a little basketball, football, baseball, whatever, with your kids. Do stuff with them. Do things with your friends so that your kids can go. in my small town, there was an adult league baseball league. And so a lot of those kids went to the baseball diamond. We watched the adults play. It was fun and all that. And for a lot of kids, you know, it's like, there's my dad. Again, that is something that you're going to feel great about because your kids are rooting for you. And you're making an excellent role model. Okay? Remember, this is all about being a better person. Sometimes it's not just about you being a better person for yourself. It's for you to be a better person for your family. Okay? One of the things that you are also expected to be as a male, you know, part of the family, you are the leader. You are the person that makes a majority of the decisions. So you need to show yourself as a good person that thinks about other people and wants everybody to be good, to be happy and healthy and safe. Okay, so all of these for the Father is about being family. Okay, and that's just the way it is. Now the final set, we're repeating the same goals again, but for the grandfather, the hermit. Okay, you are again a role model, but instead of just for your family, you're now for the community. Okay, there are going to be other people out there that are going to need some help. One of the this was something that I've learned recently. There is what they call the man box. There are certain standards that men are forced to partake, and so they're all in this rugged, like, crate. And you know, this is what is expected of you. Here it is. Fulfill these roles. Now, we'll get into that in a future video. And if we feel like it, if we have enough time, we'll even get into that for the females. You know, we'll get into the litter box because it's full of shit. See, now I know that I'm sounding bitter. Yes, I am in some ways. But women like to hold men accountable and make little remarks, insults, complaints. Well, we can do the same darn thing. I mean, you know, freedom of speech, you know. But as a hermit, the grandfather, you are now thinking about the community. Sometimes you've got to look at the younger ones who are supposed to be role models that aren't. And you got to give them a little nudge. One of the greatest things I think about men is that we police ourselves to a degree. You know, if somebody is being rather weak or whiny about something, we go up to them and we tell them to man up. And we tell them, hey, this is not how we do it. You know, get your head out of your ass and do it this way. Okay? Men do that. Women don't do that for each other because they are always competing against themselves constantly. They do not have camaraderie. Tongue's not working today. Camaraderie. Men can work together. Women cannot. This is a proven fact here. There are women who refuse to work with other women, you know, to have other women in their group because women are always scheming against each other. Men don't do that. Men will because they're trying to establish the pecking order. But generally, if it goes, you know, fisticuffs and all that, once that's done and the pecking order is established, we work well together. Women can't do that. T. So we go and we tell people sometimes that they have to get their head out of their butt and to be better role models because that's what's expected of them. That's what men do, and that's what the hermit, the grandfather, should do to all the young ones that are in the community under him. Because that's what a good leader will do. You are now not just responsible for cleaning your property, taking care of your house, you have the community to think of. And so sometimes somebody might need a little help, okay? Help them out. Sometimes you have to remind people, hey, we are community, we have a standard, can you please mow your lawn? Okay, we do that. And there's nothing wrong with it. Now you're probably at the age where you could be retiring soon. Or you can go from being a full-time employee to being a part-time, whatever cases. You have your job, you try to maintain that, but you have so many other jobs now. You slow down on certain things, but you maintain a lot of jobs too. Because, like I was talking about the man who needs to get his lawn mowed. Okay, you are now kind of in charge of policing the community. See where there is help needed, or if there is a bad situation. Okay? Motivate and help. You educate kids. You know, we talked about getting jobs and all that. Well, maybe there is a kid that's trying to make a little extra money. He's got a lawnmower. He's willing to mow the lawn. You help him out. Here, mow my lawn, pay him some money, get him started on his journey. That's what leaders do. Learn to fight. Well, you're older now, you've learned to fight. You've probably been in a couple fights and all that in life. And now we focus on trying to make the community a safer place. Again, learning when not to fight, to prevent the fights, to make the community safer, and so that everybody is good. Learn to build. Well, you got hobbies, build stuff. There was a gentleman when I lived in Yale, he loved to work with wood. He built wooden trains and cars for kids. Well, why not? Build something for kids. If you're good with wood, maybe something like that. But you still build for the community, but you're building for the community, not just your family. Okay? You're, like I said, in everything, you are now more outward. You need to be expressing yourself outward and helping more and more people. You are leading by an example to be a better man. You're trying to show not just the kids, but all the fathers out there, especially those young fathers, you know, hey, this is how we do things. Okay? Cooking, yes, you're still cooking. Hopefully you're making those special things. And because now that you are the grandfather, you can, every once in a while, hopefully you're doing this beforehand, but you can go, you know what, we need to have a family reunion. How about we get all the family together and let's go to this park here and we'll all have a little cookout, and you know, maybe you're on the grill for everybody. But this creates memories. This gives people an idea how to live life, because, you know, man, you know, as a kid, you know, I loved my grandfather because, you know, he was good at playing cards. I know it's not related, but it is. At a family reunion, he played pitch. And just watching all these people playing pitch and all that, and the last person you want to play was grandpa because he was good. Those are memories. And this is all about creating memories. And you do that by being a good person. All right? Learning ethics. Again, you're not just doing this for yourself anymore. You're doing it for the people underneath you. You have the community. So be a good leader in your community. Okay? And then the final one is, of course, is still being fit. Okay? You're older now. You're a little bit more fragile. You know, it's going to be harder if you are a big person. So try to keep the weight under control. Exercise and all that to be a fit person, because then you're going to inspire other people, because it is a lot about memories. My grandpa that was very good at pitch, unfortunately could barely walk, not because of weight, because of a work injury. And so, I couldn't see him walk very often. But he would do everything that he could around the house. Him and my grandma, when we came over for Sunday dinners, they both were in the kitchen. And that is a positive memory that I inspire from. So those are some of what I consider to be rites of passage. Again, some of these are very simple. Some of these might be very foreign ideas for a lot, because there are a lot of single mothers out there. But guys, these are the roles that we need to fill and succeed in, to be better people and better leaders in our families and in our communities. Please leave the comments below, and everybody, please take care. Be at peace.